Hi, everyone. Happy Friday, and welcome to this week's episode of Friday 15, which happens every Friday at 12 p.m. Central Time, where we answer your industry questions. I'm Maureen Borsey, and I just want to thank you for coming today. I know it's Christmas Eve, so thank you for showing up today. So, our first question comes from Bonnie. Hello, I am a newbie, very green in the industry. I am working on my 7-day setup challenge. I am looking at agencies and learning that some have leads. I am worried I may need leads to get started since I'm so new and don't know how to do this yet. Do the leads actually help? And do you get enough of them to actually make income? Do you need to buy leads yourself until you make sales? And how much do leads cost? Can you help me with what host agencies do provide leads? I am confused about all that. Thanks. So, first off, Bonnie, welcome to the industry. And thank you so much for taking the step to take the 7 Days Setup Challenge program. It is such a great program. It's a really great way, just starting out, to kind of get your feet into the business. And the program does a great job of getting you started out. It's going to help you with choosing your business structures, your niches, setting up your business financials, and most importantly, host agencies. Choosing a host agency, especially just starting out in this industry, is really important to you. And I do recommend that you do join a host agency. They offer so many great things. When you join a host agency, you have now a whole network of agents that you can deal with, that you can ask questions to. So making sure you network with your host agency other agents is so very important, because there's going to be some great tips from them, some tools that you can utilize. So making sure that you reach out to them is really important. And a host agency, it's not just about the lead program. So when you are looking at a host agency, make sure that you kind of get an idea of what you want from a host agency. So if marketing is really important to you, look to see what kind of marketing programs they offer. Checking to see what kind of commission structures do they offer, what kind of fees do they have, educational programs, mentoring programs. Do they have conferences and events that you can attend, and how often is their training available? These are all important things to be thinking about when you are choosing a host agency. So I just want to make sure that you have the information you need when you are looking at a host agency. And we actually have a comparison worksheet on our site that I think would be a really great tool for you to go through our site, pick a couple different host agencies that you are interested in, and put them on the sheet, compare them, and then that's going to help you kind of narrow down your choices in a host agency. And then something else too, being that you are doing the 7-day setup challenge, is make sure you join our 7-day setup challenge Facebook group. This is really another great place for you to be able to network with other agents, and you can join today. And basically, you can start asking questions. You can ask the agents about leads, asking about host agencies that they're with, and did they start off with leads, getting started, things like that. That's a really great place to get information from other agents that were in the same spot as you and getting an idea of how they did it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make sure I put a link in the comments to you for our 7-day setup challenge Facebook group, and just make sure that you go ahead and join that. And real quickly, I just wanted to do a quick screen share, because I really want to show you where you're going to go on our site to look at host agencies. So when you come here, just go to I'm looking for a host agency and click go. And this is going to pull up a list of all the different host agencies we have available on our site to you. And there are tons. So I would maybe look at right here, it says accept any. But if you click on the down arrow, it is going to actually break down that, whether they take beginning agents or experienced agents. So start with host agencies that do take on new agents. That is important, especially having not been in the industry. And there are so many different host agency options on here. So if you just kind of scroll through this list, there's so many, just keep going. And there's even more further down. There's a lot on here, and take a look at, because look, they have reviews on here. So starting off with host agencies that have 4 and 5 reviews is a really good place, but that's not to say that some of these other ones aren't great host agencies. So just making sure you kind of take a look at all the different options that are available to you as well. So I just wanted to kind of give you an idea, because you were talking about host agencies. You're looking for a host agency that offers a leads. So I just wanted to randomly select a couple different hosts just so you could kind of see if they do offer a program and kind of some of the things that they say about the program. So I know specifically Avoya does do a leads program. So let's take a quick look at them. And so when you go down here, there's going to be the company details here, and there's everything you need to know. So they do take beginner agents, tells you what consortium they're with, any kind of accreditations. And over here in the pricing and commission is where you're going to find up your startup fees, and then annual fees and commission split ranges. So this would be important information when you're making your list of questions for your host to ask them. Just knowing you understand the fees that are involved, and the commission structure. And then over here on the left, the program details. Right here it says lead program. So they do offer one. Right here, leads belong to the host agency. And then do they charge for leads? So these are important things to understand upfront from your host agency: who the lead belongs to and do they charge for it. So I just wanted to make sure you knew where to find that. Every host does something a little bit different, but just making sure you do take a look at different host agencies to see what they do offer. Because let's just click on Gifted just to get an example of what maybe another host agency might look like. So this host agency does have a leads program, or does not. So make sure up front, okay, they don't have one. So how would you go about getting your clients? So that would be a good question to ask when you were calling. So maybe you divide up the host agencies you're looking at with lead programs versus ones that maybe interest you that don't have a leads program, finding out what programs they have for you as a new agent and getting clients, because really it comes down to networking. And, if you don't have a leads program, it's going to be about starting off with who your friends and your family. Great place to start. Any organizations you're involved in. So that's a place to start. But I just wanted to kind of give you an idea of where to be looking for whether or not a host agency has leads on there. So, what I would suggest too is do not buy a list of leads. The reason for that is most likely you're not going to get a very good list. You're going to get thousands of people on that list, but in all honesty, it's really not going to be a very viable list. So I would not recommend that, especially starting out. I recommend that you do start off with your host agency. Choosing one that does have a leads program is really important, especially with just starting out. And what you're going to find is over time, some agents love being on the leads program, and that really works for them. And then others find out that they needed it in the beginning, but then they've built up such a network with clients that they no longer need the leads program. So I think starting out, it's really a good way to go. So what I'd like to do is I just want to make sure that I put a couple links in the comments for you in regards to host agencies. So the first one is host agency. Next one is going to be the benefits of joining a host agency. And then within the benefits of joining a host agency, you're going to find our comparison worksheet that I had mentioned. Go ahead and take the time to go ahead and do that comparison worksheet. And like I'd mentioned, maybe pick some host agencies that offer a leads program and ones that do not, just so that you have an idea, because you might find out you may not go with one that is offering a leads program. So just that will help you in kind of narrowing down your choices. So just to kind of give you an idea, there really are two types of lead generation programs. So the first one is a mediated leads program. So really the host agency designates which agent gets what leads. So the leads will likely be distributed on factors like your travel agency niche. So if you are selling escorted tours, all of the leads coming to you will be from tour operators, and leads for things like that. And then what happens is they will be distributed to other agents that have a similar niche. So it could be based off of your niche. It could be based off of your expertise and also your sales history. The second type of lead is an unmediated travel lead. So this is a much more common style of lead generation program. Typically, it operates like a travel agency directory. It's where it offers a platform for travel agents to list their expertise, your niche, your experience, and your bio. It allows customers to shop around for the best match based on what they are looking for. And then with unmediated travel lead generation programs, you'll need to ensure that you have a strong profile that engages anybody coming to your site. So, here's just, kind of playing into that. Here's a couple other things to consider with travel leads. So, really, you're going to benefit from the marketing and the branding of your host agency, or if you're with a franchise, or if, you just join a consortium, or even that your host agency will be part of a consortium. Your marketing branding is going to be so important with both your host and your consortium. So utilizing the marketing that is available through your host and consortium, make sure you take advantage of that as well. So some host agencies will offer their own travel agency directories, in addition to what the consortium directory, they might offer something as well. And so these are really great places to be listed. So the more places you are listed, it basically means more chances for customers to find you. Ultimately, lead programs are only as successful as the agent, who is receiving the travel lead. So really making sure when you get that lead, following up with them immediately is so important. And it may take a couple times of following up with that lead. So kind of keep that in mind as well. And then in order to turn leads into sales, your marketing and sales game really has to be on point. So you need to, like we mentioned earlier, just need to make sure you have a great agent profile and a great travel agent website. So because if you're receiving leads, but you really don't have a great profile or website, it's not going to do you a whole lot of good. So investing in your website and investing in your marketing is so important. Utilizing your host and your consortium marketing tools that are available. And, your host most likely will have, a website that you can utilize as well, or you can create one on your own. So these are all important things to consider as well. So what I would like to do, I'm going to go ahead and put some links in the comments for you on regarding marketing tools that I think will help you out, and also about travel agency websites as well, that I think these are really good things to kind of play into the lead generation for you as well. And then finally, here are some questions that you should be asking your prospective host when you call them to find out more about them and what they have to offer new agents. And this is a really good opportunity for you to really, you're interviewing the host. So making sure you ask the questions that you want, you're going to find out right away if this is a good fit for you. You're going to know on that phone call. So just making sure, and there's no wrong choice when you're picking a host agency, and all understanding, you're going to pick one that's best for you. And then, over time, you might find that, you might change host agencies over time, or you might stick with them. I mean, there's agents that have been with the same host for 18 years. So, each person is different and their needs with a host is very different as well. So when you're speaking with them and you're specifically asking about travel leads, ask them, how many travel leads on average do agents receive? Ask how many leads you can expect, whether it's monthly, quarterly, or annually. Also determining, find out how is it determined which agent receives the leads. So I had already kind of mentioned that it can be dependent on your niche, your experience, or your sales. And then also, what is the commission split for bookings generated from a leads program? You're going to want to know up front if your commission split is modified with a leads program. Also, who does the lead belong to? So this is really important question to ask in case, one, you ever leave the host agency, and then you choose to join another one, or you go off on your own and set up your own accreditation, you're really going to want to know if it belongs to the host or if the lead actually belongs to you. If the lead belongs to the host, that means that the clients cannot stay with you if you change host agencies. It will stay with that host. But, also finding out for the ones that, they don't own the lead, finding out, does that lead then become yours and that customer becomes yours? And ask, if I was ever to leave, what happens to that customer? Do they get to come with me? Very important questions to be asking. And then also find out, especially with everything that's been going on with COVID in the last couple of years, has your host had to adapt or change their lead program in any way with COVID? So, it's just important to know, is their lead program having to change because of the current landscape of COVID, and how leads are generated on their platform? And do they anticipate any changes in the future? So, really good questions to kind of ask. So what I'd like to do, I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the comments for you on resources for travel leads programs for you to take a look at, go through that. There's going to be some other really great questions and information for you to be asking your host agency as well. And then just finally, one piece of advice, as I'd already said, just make sure you stay away from any programs outside of your host where, there's lists out there that you can buy. I would not recommend that you do that. I would definitely recommend working with your host agency. That's a really great place to start. And then as you grow your business, you may find you don't need the leads anymore, but there's many agents out there that love having, these leads come across to them. But just know it is going to be some work calling those clients, and it may take repeated reaching out to those clients to get them to, kind of work with you. But, there's agents that are very successful with the lead generation, and it's a great way to start just coming into the industry. So just take your time, go through all the tips, benefits, and how to choose a host agency, put it all on that worksheet, and then put all your questions on lead generation on there as well. And you know what? Call your host agency and ask those questions to them. And they want to hear from you, and they want to answer those questions. And if you find, oh, wait, there's a couple of others that came up after the fact, reach back out to them. So, I wish you the best of luck, Anna, and thank you so much for reaching out. And if there's anything else that we can do to help out, just let us know. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us at hostagencyreviews.com/Friday15. We'd be happy to answer your industry questions. So thank you once again, everybody, for joining us today. I hope you have a fabulous Christmas, and we look forward to seeing you all next week. Thanks.